I read a book by John Maxwell. He says if you want to be an expert in any industry, you should have read 2,500 books on the industry. How many free throws did I shoot in those 15 years? How many laps did I run in those 15 years? How many times did I sprain my ankle? How many suicides did I run in those 15 years? And I thought about it, I can't even calculate what it took in 15 years for me to become. If you're inconsistent with your rituals, you're going to be inconsistent with your results. That's why sometimes you have a good year, sometimes you have a bad year. Sometimes you have a good quarter, sometimes you have an off quarter. Sometimes you have a good decade, sometimes you have a bad decade. Sharks are consistent. Sharks are the smartest fish in the ocean. There's nobody in that ocean smarter than the shark. How can you get smarter? How can you become an expert in your industry? There should be nobody in your industry smarter than you. Here's a problem. Grab your iPhone again. It's called a smartphone. We can use the smartphone to get smart, or we can use our smartphone to entertain us. We can use our smartphone to get smarter, or we can use our smartphone to entertain us. With the advent of AI, there is no excuse for anyone to be ignorant. If you agree with me, raise your hand and say yes. Being dumb is a choice right now in today's marketplace. If you agree, talk back to me. So can I ask you a question? Are you using your phone the right way? My wife and I did some public seminars much like this. We filled up ballrooms just using my cell phone. We sold out events just using my cell phone. Why? Because I'm in the people business, know a lot of people. I just went through my phone and just text people. Next thing I know, we had a full ballroom. So your rituals, guys, that you do every single day are going to have a huge impact on your business. If you're inconsistent with your rituals, you're going to be inconsistent with your results. That's why sometimes you have a good year, sometimes you have a bad year. Sometimes you have a good quarter, sometimes you have an off quarter. Sometimes you have a good decade, sometimes you have a bad decade. Sharks are consistent. They outwork every other fish. They only look up, they never look down. Sharks are curious and always learning. You guys know why they bite humans? Anybody know? Huh? They bite us by mistake. Sharks just don't go around just eating everything. They're very intelligent. But some of us humans can look like turtles. Some of us humans can look like seals. So when a shark is under the ocean, they're so curious, they see you, they're not sure what you are, and they come to bite you because they don't have hands. What do little kids do to learn? They put everything in their mouth. Sharks are just like kids in that regard. They put everything in their mouth. That's why we hear about shark bites. And Jaws, the movie, lied to us. Jaws made us think that they actually eat us, and they don't. They might tear off your arm, and they're like, ooh, I don't like that nasty. And they spit it out. Because sharks are curious, and they're always learning, and they can't help but to investigate every. You can't learn without being curious. You guys agree? So can I ask you a question from a business standpoint? What are you curious about? Oh, you're just trying to make money. I get it, but what you curious about? See, if you're just waking up trying to make money, you're going to always survive because God is good. But if you want to thrive, it's about being curious and being smarter. I read a book by John Maxwell. He says if you want to be an expert in any industry, you should have read 2,500 books on the industry. When I first heard that statement, I was like, man, you can't read 2,500 books on motivational speaking. You can't. And I thought about it, well, how many times did I dribble a basketball in those 15 years? How many free throws did I shoot in those 15 years? How many laps did I run in those 15 years? How many times did I sprain my ankle? How many suicides did I run in those 15 years? And I thought about it, I can't even calculate what it took in 15 years for me to become. So can I ask you a question? What are you working on becoming? You got to get curious about leadership if you're in leadership. You got to get curious about financial services if you're in financial services. He who wins souls is wise. So if we want to win more souls, we have to be what? Wiser. So I want to encourage you, whatever your industry is, just to get more curious. Number 4, sharks respect their environment and they recognize other sharks. What does it mean to respect your environment? What it simply means to me, you're going to leave this world in a better place. Something about your life is going to leave this world in a better place. When I played in the NBA, you know what the mantra was? Leave the league in better shape than what you found it. These salaries have exploded. Why? Because Isaiah Thomas left the NBA in better shape than what he found it. Magic Johnson left the NBA in better shape than what he found it. Larry Bird left the NBA in better shape than what he found it. Right now, attendance is shrinking in the NBA. You guys know that. So the NBA is trying to figure out how can we make the NBA attractive more? Do we cut down games? What can we do to make the game more attractive? Go talk to your players and give them the same credo. They made tons and tons of more money because of John Stockton. They make a whole lot more money because of Karl Malone. But they don't have the same mindset we had in our generation to leave the NBA in better shape than what they found it. Think about your industry. How can you leave your industry in better shape than what you found it in? What if you left the industry and said, man, because of Wayne, the pepper business is like this. Because of Newberry, the gospel music industry has this. Because of Steve Solomon, CBMC has this. What impact can you make that your whole industry can say, wow, because of him, because of her, this whole industry thrived. We were in a meeting in Minneapolis at the Prince Institute of Paisley Park. And my wife and I was working on a book. And I didn't have peace on a book deal. And I heard about how Prince rebelled against the music industry. And he refused to allow them to use his name because they owned his name. So he rebelled against the whole industry and said, you know what? I'm not going to go by Prince anymore. How do you get to own my name? I'm Prince. I built the brand, but this record label stole his name, stole his identity, and he did something about it. He said, I'm the artist formerly known as Prince. Now I'm just known as a symbol. As I heard this lesson, he just made me better because I was struggling with a book deal. And as soon as I heard what Prince did, I had clarity on what to do with my next book deal because the publisher I was working with owned the rights to me. He owned the rights to my intellectual property. You mean to tell me that when I write a book with you, you own my work? And all of a sudden I got clarity because Prince taught every musician, every author, how to own their brand. All the top music executives now won because of it. Jay-Z is winning because of Prince. Beyonce is winning because of Prince. Locate your favorite artist today, and they're winning because of the stand that Prince made. We rarely hear about labels anymore. But now all we hear about the artists. And it all goes back to Prince. He's not with us anymore. But Prince made the music industry better. I don't care what you say about Prince. I thought he was weird. I lived in Minneapolis 25 years. But we went to Paisley Park. And I thought to myself when I left, like, my. I had no idea how talented, how gifted, and what kind of impact this one man had on the entire music industry. And I was convinced Prince, or the artist formerly known as Prince, was the greatest musician of all time. He played every instrument on all his music. What a gift, what a talent. And then he made a stand to help other artists and other musicians. I want you to take a moment and think about how can you transform your industry? How can you transform your industry? How can you make a difference in your industry? Very few of us see this problem as an opportunity. How can you make an indelible impact on your industry? My neighborhood has 6 billionaires. You know why they're billionaires? Because they have a sharp mindset. They spend all their time thriving, and none of their mental energy is surviving. If iron sharpens iron, which means simply we help mold each other.